Our research begins from observation that several projects on horizontal collaboration fails. And this is a tragedy because collaboration has a lot of positive effects in logistics. You can reduce environmental emissions, you can reduce cost. And this has caused many of agencies, for example, in the public sector, several industry associations to sponsor horizontal logistics collaboration projects in larger scale. So while horizontal collaboration is typical in dyads and sometimes in triads, there's been a push, especially from the public sector, to make these type of horizontal collaborations more systematic. However, over the past 20 years, we've seen most of those attempts fail. And we really wanted to find out, why is that the case?
So one of the things that makes this paper really interesting is the richness of its data. We searched long and hard to find data to understand why these collaboration projects that had so much support, that were designed to succeed, they actually failed. And we use a multiple case study research methodology that help us to structure our research to systematically find and analyze these valuable cases. We found 9 different collaboration projects from 5 different countries that happened in the past 20 years to build this rich data set containing project documents, secondary data, and interviews from key participants. So we were able to interview managers in the shipping companies, industry association members, and government representatives that serve as a sponsor of the projects, and even consultants and academic researchers that serve as facilitators of the projects. The constant comparison of this rich data and the literature lead us to really interesting findings. So the analysis of the cases then resulted in 6 key observations that in which we elaborate the theory of the commons and agency theory in the context that is interesting for us, in the context of horizontal logistics collaboration. Related to the commons theory, our observations highlight the importance of Ostrom's polycentric principles on project success. So related to Ostrom's theory, we observed that the projects suffer because the members struggle to understand the cost and benefits. Then they fail to form collective agreements. And finally, they lacked the self-determination to learn to cooperate. So actually, facilitators were usually perceived as outsiders, and that caused shippers to decouple instead of focusing on forming a self-sustaining community to pool resources. In this case, that was these logistics flows. Then, related to agency theory, we observed that what made those projects fail was related to, first, adverse selection of the facilitators and the members, then lack of goal alignment among sponsors, facilitators, and shippers, and finally, lack of output, input, and behavior controls. We observed that all projects lacked closing reviews, and this is really important. This is this post-mortem project assessment. So what happened is that the sponsors and facilitators failed to learn from mistakes and then disseminate that knowledge. In summary, the lack of feedback and participations, the lack of convincing benefits, and the lack of incentive alignments really handicap the formation of a logistics common. And most importantly, since their learnings were not disseminated, they kept doing the same mistakes.
What we have been looking at here is a relatively new area of supply chain management, looking at the interplay with outside or non-traditional supply chain actors here in the system. And what we can see, as Isidro was mentioning here from our results, is that we do see that there is a misalignment and that there is a decoupling. And in order for academia to really contribute to promoting horizontal logistics collaboration and making systematic horizontal collaboration work, we need to understand really what are the mechanisms that engage partners in these projects, and how can we avoid these agency problems. Also going forward, we do see a large value in using Ostrom's framework for polycentricity, because when actors are coming together in a horizontal logistics collaboration, what they're doing is they're actually pooling their resources. And Ostrom's very extensive research and everyone that followed her research on how to manage a common pool of resources, we find is very useful for this setting. From a policy perspective, what we can see here is that there is a certain pattern. We mentioned already that it is important to have, for example, sunset reviews and start learning from these mistakes instead of repeating projects that are pretty much doomed to fail from the beginning for the reasons outlined. We do see a large importance for supply chain firms that participate in these projects to also assess whether the other participants are really sincere in their motivation to participate. And when we say sincere in their motivation to participate, we mean, are they really intent on reaching horizontal collaboration, or are they just joining the project out of some kind of fear of missing out, or everyone else is joining the project, so we want to join too? So that is some of the important managerial implications and policy implications from this project.